And welcome back to EGL. It's the Mad Catz 2013 Winter Championships here at the EGL Arena at London Trocadero. How do you like that?
It's good. It was a good intro.
Thanks. I meant more the game.
Oh, the game. It's quite good. We thought it would be a bit
just
harder.
run us through the last bit, just because we're not sure if it actually went out live.
Oh, right. Okay. So
we may have
last
had
map,
an internet connection issue.
the last match we played was Meltdown S&D. We won it 6-2 in the end. Jake got a streak. He went off at the start like 9-0. And yeah, pretty much it was just pretty straightforward. So we won 6-2.
Straightforward win.
Yeah.
Off you go to the grand final. Easy.
Yeah, it was easy. We thought it would be harder though, to be fair.
Coming from the pickup.
Yeah. Well, no. It's like I've played with Vintage and Josh at a previous event, so it's just like Jake's just like switch with Bissell sort of thing. So
Yeah. Well, look at the way I'm looking at it is that last event you were in the grand final versus Fused, and now you're playing with them in a grand final.
Yeah.
Even though you're still not actually part of that team.
It's quite weird how it's worked out, but hopefully we can beat Epsilon this time and take the crown.
So, you know, TCM there. TCM's they've had a lot of hard luck over the last couple events, or last several events. But I think you know, I was talking to Sowers about the fact that TCM had a lot of hype going into Gfinity.
Yeah.
And it seemed like perhaps, especially when they played Epsilon, they took a map off them right off the bat.
Yeah.
And you know what? Things looked kind of up. I think it was a hard point map, so that's always nice to take
hard point.
It's always nice to take a hard point map. But then they fell apart, and they really haven't been the same.
Yeah. So yeah, watch the game. They could have actually taken that 3-0 TCM cut off, but it was just little things which they messed up on, and then they actually lost. So they could have taken it, and it was a bit of hard luck, a bit of stuff that happened. It was like people were just walking past each other on their thing, and it was just like milliseconds difference from them winning and losing.
Yeah. So, you know, the ball just didn't bounce their way, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know what? You know, commiserations to them. Obviously, TCM, they're going to MLG.
Yeah.
Ghosts, a new game, a fresh beginning. So, you know, good luck to them.
Yeah. Definitely.
Now, obviously, going into this final, you know, Orbit, just absolutely spectacular play all weekend, especially from the losers bracket.
Yeah, definitely. It was unexpected from them. No one really thought that they'd get this far. No one thought they'd beat the teams they did. No one thought they'd beat TCM. So they really stepped up their game. They had a few good players in there that did quite a lot of big plays for that team. Steve stepped his game up this weekend. If anyone doesn't know, that's Mohawk. And yeah, I was really surprised with them. They've done very well.
And was there any, like, who was the actual MVP from that team? Obviously, Mohawk is a well-known player, if anything, a bit underrated at this point, obviously.
Yeah. So I'd say Steve as a leader, his comms are like vital for them, as he's like the most experienced out of it. But in game, like Slay and Power and match like who changed the game was between JT and Watson. But I'd say Watson clinched it for me because he literally just kept dropping like 40s every map. He was more consistent than JT, so Watson.
And, okay, so grand final time now. We've got through TCM. We've got through Orbit.
Yep.
Now, here we are, Infused, of course, taking on the big dogs. The guys who, at Gfinity, absolutely stormed in there. I don't think anyone really thought much of them. And all of a sudden, you know what? They are a recognized powerhouse.
Yeah, definitely. No one really expected Epsilon to finish second at Gfinity. Everyone expected them to do the best out of the European teams, but no one expected to do what they did. And they
especially the caliber of American teams.
Definitely, because they were 2-0 up against Complexity too, and they managed to just somehow just mess up a few maps, and they just momentum swung in Complexity's way. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game. We lost 3-2 previously, 6-4 last map. So hopefully if we can pull out our S&D game and just perform like we did previously this game here, we might be able to take the game.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we're going to be playing 2 games ultimately, hopefully for you, right?
Hopefully.
So going into that first matchup, you know, to get, you know, just basically so you can even things up with them. Yeah. What are you guys going to be looking to do?
So we have to literally, as you said, we have to win 2 series. It's the first series we have to play out of our skin. Like we're warming up now. They're just coming on to play. So hopefully we've got a little bit of an advantage. It won't be much, as top players don't really need to have to.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of EGL events, and this is where, you know, earlier we had Alex on talking about how, you know, basically every event we rejig the format depending on the turnout. So we knew that, you know, with this event, it's you know, the end of a game, that the turnout might not be as high as it has been previously. we were kind of aiming for 72 teams. We
Yeah.
had 52, so there's quite a big
Yeah, definitely.
mismatch there. But it allowed us to really solidify the pool play again and kind of change that format. That also allowed for us to make sure that the winner's bracket final wasn't played until much later in the day, because what happens is we tend to play a winner's bracket final fairly early, and then 8 or 9 hours later, a team's playing. So, they're going into this with, not too rusty.
Just like a two series off.
Yeah.
Whereas we were just waiting for the same amount, apart from we just played that game. So
Yeah,
it's worked
exactly.
out a lot better how the winner bracket final was played. It left it so there's not much of a difference, and there's no like, oh, we waited 8 hours, that's why we lost.
Yeah.
There's no excuses for that anymore.
But as you said, the players at this caliber, it shouldn't matter how long you're waiting. But, hopefully that wait will help you guys.
Hopefully it does.
Yeah.
I'm hoping so, but it probably won't. It'll probably still be a close game.
No
That's what
confidence. Where's the confidence?
I don't want to be confident on the other team not being up to par, because then it's not an actual, like,
Yeah.
it's just
But you just said Orbit, you walked it.
yeah, but Orbit was just, we expected it to be harder because they beat us, we beat them 3-2 last time.
Yes, yeah.
So we expected them to just come out firing after beating TCM, but somehow they just, I don't know what happened. We might have just played really well, or they just slumped.
We're getting some game sound in there.
Yeah, it's,
There we go. Well, they're warming up now. Or no, it's Momo playing. Momo has decided to play.
That's
Now,
not
of
gonna go
course,
too well.
this weekend we've had a lot of casters come through, new people, just because of all the events that we have coming up in Europe with the ESWC. We had Gfinity a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
MLG's coming up. So casters were kind of, obviously people have real jobs at the end of the day. No one's actually getting paid to do this yet. And, so now we've got Momo's about to step up. Of course, the legend that is Brycey is going to be casting this final. Do you have a favorite caster? Do you watch a lot of stuff?
Puckett, he used to cast Halo, and everyone used to like how he casted it. So,
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
Cody's like really taken to it, and he knows what seems to know what he's talking about in this game. He just, the way he gets enthusiastic about certain things just makes his listening to him while watching a game a lot better. So I'd say Puckett and Fwiz maybe are my favorite combo.
Fwiz?
Yeah.
Yeah. Puckett's interesting because I think we had it actually here with the Dutch caster.
What's his name?
Oh,
Acebek.
Acebek. And the guy was kind of forced into it, which is what happened with Puckett, really. It was like, the scenery was changing so fast for MLG. They went to StarCraft, and then there was like, they're trying to pick up another console game. They had Sony PS3 as a sponsor, so they went to Call of Duty. And, Puckett just, took the bull by the horns really quickly, and just, and so Acebek had done the exact same thing over here with Reflex and so on.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see casters go from game to game, and Puckett's very interesting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Call of Duty now is really starting to, talent is emerging, especially in the UK. Like the amount of UK casters that are now doing international events is amazing.
I've noticed that a lot. Like you said, every single event, there's just new casters coming through, and they just keep improving.
Yeah.
And just when they cast alongside someone who's experienced, they just seem to like bounce off of that and just improve themselves even more. So it's good to see.
A lot of people, of course, EGL's not perfect because we're trying to do things for the community still. It's just like the UK is kind of, the sponsorship's not quite at the level it needs to be. But we're working on it, and for us, trying to grow grassroots stuff. So getting new players in, you need to have the next generation of players, but you also need to have the next generation of casters. So
exactly.
As I said, Silverback today stepped up. Momo was supposed to cast, but that didn't work out because he ended up getting picked up by Aware.
It's a good job he got knocked out quite early on.
Yeah,
so
we
could have
have the
stepped in.
final. So we're going into the grand final. I don't know how far are we? 5 minutes. Do you guys want to go? Yeah.
You can do it. We've been talking for 5.
Let's go. We're gonna do it.
No, not you. Talking about Phil.
We'll talk for 2 more minutes. How about that,
okay.
Brycey? Okay, so grand final time. Money's on the line. You're going for it. You're not part of this lineup. Does that affect how you're going to play this, or are you just going for it anyways? Obviously, Millennium you were very successful with.
I suppose it affects it a little bit because I'm obviously not part of the team, so I haven't got the much drive for this team to perform and do well.
That's exactly what I'm after. Yeah.
Obviously, I still would like to win, and but at the end of the day, if we do lose this, I'm not going to be as angry as I would be if I was part of my own team. So
what? You can't say that.
Well,
You'll be a little bit upset.
I've never won an EGL. I've had 2 seconds. I want to win one, so yeah, I want to win. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's the spirit. That's what we're looking
That's
for.
what I need.
Amazing. All right. Nope, they're not ready yet. Now they're getting ready. Okay, right now it is time for the EGL11 Mad Catz 2013 Winter Championships. This is what they play for. The champion, the European champ of Call of Duty Black Ops 2, casting the matchup. We've got Mobo, but first, here is